Opening alongside Disney's Animal Kingdom, Dinosaur, or what was known at the time as Countdown to Extinction, brought guests. Hello there! Welcome to our little trans-dimensional joyride, folks. I am Dr. Ryan, your friendly YouTuber and one heck of a paleontologist, if I do say so myself. But let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you and how you can help me make history. It's like this. If I could bring you back to Disney's Animal Kingdom in 1998, it stands to reason that I can alter the Disney parks timeline and help save Dinosaur from closing down forever. Do me a favor, reach down and tug on those yellow straps, because this is the history of Dinosaur, Countdown to Extinction. Shortly following the troubled opening of Disney's MGM Studios Park and downtown Disney's Pleasure Island in 1989, Imagineers quickly shifted their focus to new projects on the horizon. With a total of 3 theme parks, 6 resorts, and 1 massive shopping/entertainment district, the rapid expansion of Walt Disney World, led by the ever-so-ambitious Disney CEO Michael Eisner, was in full swing. The next move? A new theme park.
Introducing the most adventurous Walt Disney World theme park ever. Disney's Animal Kingdom. The imagination of Disney gone wild.
The mastermind behind this new animal-themed park would be none other than Disney legendary Imagineer Joe Rohde. Well, at the time, he wasn't a legend quite yet. After his stellar work on Pleasure Island's Adventurers Club, an immersive nightclub themed after a private club for world travelers and explorers set in 1937, Rohde approached Disney in fall of 1992 with the idea of what at the time would be referred to as Disney's Wild Animal Kingdom. After a stellar pitch meeting to the entire Disney leadership team, including bringing a live tiger into the boardroom, the project was greenlit. With an original budget somewhere between $600 and $800 million, Wild Animal Kingdom was slated to begin construction in 1995.
It was amazing. There I was, on Kilimanjaro, the rhino. Our eyes locked.
Hold on, mate. We were attacked by bugs, the size of grizzlies.
Bugs? There's dinosaurs out there, mate. Living, breathing, and a teeth.
Right. But did you witness the festive displays and customs of the locals?
Daddy! Where are we gonna go next?
Camp Minnie Mickey? Take care.
There. Disney's Animal Kingdom. Come on, explore.
Upon opening, Disney's Animal Kingdom would be split into 6 different lands. Discovery Island, the central hub connecting each land to one another and home of the park's icon, the Tree of Life. Africa, an East African port village home to multiple wildlife trails and the park's main e-ticket attraction, Kilimanjaro Safaris. Conservation Station, or otherwise known as Rafiki's Planet Watch, showcasing the various conservation efforts from the Walt Disney Company. Asia, the park's first expansion that technically made it into the opening day map, but was slated to open in 1999. Dinoland USA, a land covering the extinct animals, namely dinosaurs. And Beastly Kingdom. One of these is clearly not like the others. Beastly Kingdom was to be a land dedicated to animals that only existed in the realm of fantasy, like unicorns and dragons. But due to the company taking a massive hit with their opening of Euro Disneyland, resulting in budget cuts everywhere else throughout the company, the question was posed: Beastly Kingdom or Dinoland USA? And with the Imagineers working on Dinoland being more lenient with scaling back the land, it was decided that Beastly Kingdom would not make the cut for opening day. I could go on and on about the crazy land that Beastly Kingdom would have become and how it strangely involves Universal's Islands of Adventure, but I'd like to save that for its own video. The Walt Disney Company has a long history of featuring dinosaurs in their attractions, dating all the way back to 1964 at the New York World's Fair, where we first saw audio animatronic dinosaurs on the Ford's Magic Skyway attraction, a ride created by Disney for the Ford Car Company that took guests inside Ford cars back to the prehistoric era. Granted, at the time, dinosaurs were still considered a newer-ish discovery, and it wasn't until the early 90s that the dino craze was in full swing. With popular films like Jurassic Park, Land Before Time, and the hit TV show Dinosaurs, the timing could not have been more perfect with the development of Animal Kingdom. Originally, Disney planned to have two separate e-ticket rides in Dinoland, a slow-moving dark ride, similar to another major dinosaur ride at the time, just without the big drop at the end, and a large-scale dig site-themed wood coaster that would be placed just behind a dig site-themed play area that would eventually end up being the Boneyard. With more budget cuts on the horizon and the fact that Animal Kingdom at this point in development had 0 thrill rides, well, only 1 or 2 other rides actually, it was decided to combine the two e-ticket concepts into one. That is when Countdown to Extinction was born.
Hidden deep within the Dino Institute, past quaint displays and dusty artifacts, in a once secret underground research facility, lies the most incredible machine ever engineered, the CTX Time Rover.
In an attempt to help scale back the cost of the ride, Disney would utilize a ride system already in development on another attraction over at Disneyland. Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland Park opened in March of 1995 and used a groundbreaking first-of-its-kind ride system, known internally as EMV, short for Enhanced Motion Vehicle. This system used hydraulic motors to simulate rough terrain, drifting, rapid acceleration, and speed, all while only having a maximum speed of 14 miles per hour. Following the opening of the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, the rave reviews began pouring in. Fans loved this new style of thrill ride, solidifying the decision for a dinosaur version to make its way to Central Florida. Not only did this ride vehicle make the cross-country trip, but also the track layout too. Well, contrary to popular belief, the track layout of Indiana Jones Adventure and Dinosaur are not the exact same. There are a few slight differences both in the ride's layout and in backstage storage areas, as seen with this very detailed set of graphics from Park Lore. As I've mentioned in previous videos, you should definitely go check out their site for amazing ride layout breakdowns just like this one. I'll have the link in the description. The ride was originally home to 12 audio animatronics. Not a massive amount in the grand scheme of things, but with the massive size of each robot, it was understandable. In an attempt to manage both the scale and stay as scientifically accurate as possible, Disney hired science liaison Casey Brennan to assist in creating dinosaurs that not only looked historically accurate, but also moved that way too.
One of the challenges of recreating an extinct species of which we only have bones to work with today is interpreting what their body motions, skin colors, and behavior will be. And we find that utilizing, of course, nature as it exists today, and with the new knowledge that probably birds are related to dinosaurs if they aren't actually dinosaurs, has given artists lots of inspiration in how dinosaurs would look, how they would act and behave.
I'd be remiss not to mention the elephant, or should I say dinosaur, in the room. When it comes to animatronic dinosaurs, Disney I'm sure would love for you to believe that they were the first in this medium to do so. But in June of 1996, Jurassic Park the Ride opened at Universal Studios Hollywood, a ride that had been under development since before the film's release in 1993. While we don't know for sure if Jurassic Park had ever been in consideration to make its way to Animal Kingdom, likely it never did because it was a Universal/Amblin Entertainment production. You'd have to assume that Disney was anticipating the movie's success and would create their own version of the ride, whether it be official IP or not. Which brings us to our next major point in the ride's story. During the development of the ride, Disney was also working on a major motion picture about dinosaurs, aptly named Dinosaur. This photorealistic animated adventure film was in production by Walt Disney Animation while the ride was being built. Due to the long, tenuous process that was 3D animation in the 90s, the film took 14 years to produce from original concept to its release, meaning that a ride based off of the movie wouldn't make sense when Countdown to Extinction opened in 1998 along with the rest of Animal Kingdom. It's because of this that the ride would not follow the story of the movie, but rather Imagineers would work in tandem with the studio to create our main character. Well, Dinosaur main character, an iguanodon modeled after the main character of the movie, Aladar. This resemblance was something that was never acknowledged on the ride, but I'm sure it made a lot more sense once the film was released in May of 2000. It was at that time that Countdown to Extinction was renamed to Dinosaur to reflect the film. When it came to the ride's story, another hurdle to jump would be how to transport guests from a theme park to a prehistoric time. In order to do so, Imagineers crafted a story that saw guests enter the Dino Institute, a sort of museum for dinosaurs that had recently added a new experience to their exhibits. A story that they likely used to avoid creating a near carbon copy of the Jurassic Park concept, something they clearly did not consider when designing the building that the ride would be housed in. I understand that this style of architecture is popular in museums worldwide, but it legit looks like a stripped down version of the Discovery Center from Jurassic Park, right down to the rotunda with a fossil of a Tyrannosaurus in the center.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. Intel has told us there are at least 7.
Okay, I already see one. Give him. Okay.
They're the same picture.
The ride itself was located in the Dinoland area of the park, yet had a completely different feel than the rest of the land. Dinoland USA was also home to the Boneyard, a kids' play area themed after a dig site, and Dino-Rama, a sort of traveling fair with carnival games and 2 rides, Triceratops Spin and Primeval Whirl, both of which served as great filler. See, Dino-Rama was only ever meant to be a temporary area of the land, with plans to complete the original version of Dinoland in Phase 2 of the park's expansion. But that was also the plan for the Camp Mini Mickey on the other side of the park, which was the temporary placement for Beastly Kingdom. It's kind of like maybe they shouldn't have opened a brand new park without 2 major lands complete, but I digress.
McDonald's is going wild over the opening of Disney's Animal Kingdom, Disney's most adventurous theme park ever, and so will you.
Dinoland USA was sponsored by McDonald's, a brand that had a presence in Disney parks for a while at that point, with McDonald's fries being sold in select dining locations including French fry stands located in Frontierland at Magic Kingdom, the refreshment port at Epcot's World Showcase, Sunset Boulevard at MGM Studios, and a full restaurant in downtown Disney at what is now the seating area between the Lego and the Harley-Davidson stores. This sponsorship was not only for the McDonald's logo to be placed at the entrance of the land, but also throughout the land as well. Just to the right of the land's main entrance was Petra Fries, a McDonald's French fry stand similar to the ones found at the other parks. Moving further into the land was Restaurant Osaurus, a quick service dining location that served select McDonald's menu items including a McChicken, McDonald's fries, and a Happy Meal for the kiddos. Moving past Restaurant Osaurus, you'd find Countdown to Extinction. The McDonald's sponsorship was not only present in the sign for the ride, but also inside of the building, but more on that later. The exterior of the building would originally have a statue of a Triceratops in the center of a shallow pool in front. A pool that apparently you were allowed to swim in, or at least that's what these children decided in this photo. When entering the building, you would find yourself inside of the Dino Institute, with fossils from dinosaurs you could be seeing on the ride, as well as some dioramas of a native Florida habitat. Then you would pass into an octagonal room with a massive fossil of a Carnotaurus, a sort of introduction to the main villain of our story. It's in this room where you would hear a familiar voice. Well, a familiar voice if you were born in the 80s or 90s. In his second feature on a Disney World ride, Imagineers would turn to Bill Nye the Science Guy for informational snippets to play overhead during this part of the queue. Disney had previously used Bill Nye in Universe of Energy's slight retheme to Ellen's Energy Adventure over at Epcot, where he was a mentor for Ellen DeGeneres as she competed in a fossil fuel-based game of Jeopardy against Jamie Lee Curtis. Sounds bizarre, but hey, it couldn't have been much worse than the original version of that ride. Bill Nye's connection to Disney was through his popular educational TV series Bill Nye the Science Guy, produced by Disney and PBS Kids, which of course made him a perfect fit for a familiar scientific voice of reason within the Disney parks. While in the Dino Institute, you could hear Bill Nye overhead educating guests on paleontology.
Hey everybody, it's me again, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Do you know how many elephants you'd have to have on a scale to have 50 tons? 10! Wow, that was a lot of animal.
Once reaching the end of the queue, guests would be split off into one of two pre-show rooms. This is where you would be introduced to two staff members from the Dino Institute. Your director, Dr. Helen Marsh, portrayed by actor Felicia Rashad, whom you may recognize from her role as Claire Huxtable, the wife and mother from The Cosby Show, as well as a series of Walt Disney World commercials that aired in 1986 starring the Huxtable family. It is here in the pre-show where Dr. Marsh explains the Institute's newest attraction, the Time Rover, posing the question, how does it work, and quickly moving on without explaining how. A static transition sees a dino puppet similar to the one in the intro for this video pop up into frame. Attached is none other than Dr. Grant Seeker, a scientist working under Dr. Marsh and is acting as the head of the Time Rover tourism program. See, in order to help provide funding for the Institute, we, the tourists of Diggs County, are helping. Somehow. You know, I'm not really sure how. Maybe through the Lightning Lane passes purchased, or maybe a percentage of park tickets? I don't know. Regardless, Dr. Seeker is portrayed by Wallace Langham, an actor most famously known for his role as David Hodges in the popular forensic crime drama CSI. Dr. Seeker ensures that it is an eye-opening experience that we will enjoy, but there's one catch.
If I can bring you back from the Cretaceous period, it stands to reason that I can bring back a live dinosaur with you. And not just any dinosaur. Take a look at this guy.
It is important to note that Disney Animation Studios did provide some pre-movie release footage for the Iguanodon that you see during this pre-show of the ride. After a quick clarification from Dr. Marsh that we will not be traveling that close to the asteroid strike, and a loop back from Dr. Seeker saying that we are, guests were sent on their way to the loading platform. Before we move on, I feel like I have to say, this ride's pre-show might be more iconic than the ride itself, or at least it feels that way in today's online theme park fandom. While descending down a set of stairs into the loading area, you'll be able to find what is probably the most commonly known Disney Easter egg outside of a hidden Mickey. But for those who somehow don't know, McDonald's, the sponsor for the attraction and land, as we mentioned before, had more than just their logo adorning the sign out front. They also had their liquid running through the veins of the ride itself. When I say liquid, I mean ketchup, mustard, and mayo, as these three condiments were depicted in color and chemical composition on these three pipes in the loading area. Another hidden reference that I find much more interesting is one that was added to the ride after the name was changed from Countdown to Extinction to Dinosaur was this sector code, reading Sector CTX WDI AK98. CTX referencing Countdown to Extinction, WDI Walt Disney Imagineering, and AK98 Animal Kingdom's opening year. While Disney was busy fulfilling their sponsor's strange request of condiment-based plumbing, Universal's dinosaur-based franchise was shaking the ground of blockbuster film merchandising. Jurassic Park's mammoth campaign included toys, lunchboxes, comic books, novelty license plates, you name it. while Dinosaur got some rubber hand puppets in Happy Meal toys and a few t-shirts. Even decades later, for Jurassic Park's 30th anniversary, they are still killing it in the merchandising game. I could not think of a more perfect opportunity than to plug some of my favorite shirts from Roosevelt's. You've seen me repping these shirts in quite literally every video I've posted in the past year, and with a few easy clicks, you could too. With Roosevelt's 4-way stretch material and silky soft shirts, you'll comfortably outrun even the fiercest of enemies, and look good doing it too. I am a pretty big guy, normally an XL in a t-shirt and a 2XL in Roosevelt's for the extra wiggle room underneath. For 15% off your first order, follow the link in the description of this video where you could shop designs from some of your favorite fandoms. But for now, we do need to get back to talking about Dinosaur the Ride. Once loading onto the Time Rover and dirty yellow strap was pulled at the seatbelt check, the ride would commence.
This is Seeker. Listen up. We've got to get in, grab the Iguanodon, and get out before that asteroid hits. Let's roll!
Guided by remote control back at the Institute, Dr. Seeker would transport guests through the Time Tunnel, an industrial-turned-Starfield-type mechanism that would beam you into a prehistoric jungle scene. Well, what you could sort of see was a prehistoric jungle scene. The ride was extremely dark, especially in its latter years when the animatronics and some effects kind of stopped working. It seemed to be easier to just turn off a stage light rather than fix a $1 million animatronic. For that reason, I do want to warn you that I will be spoiling the magic and using some on-ride lights-on footage that was uploaded to YouTube a few years ago. Through the ride, you'll be able to find a myriad of different dino species, like a Styracosaurus and an Alioramus eating a Brachiochampus. If you can't tell by this point, I am not one heck of a paleontologist myself, based off of the fact that my pronunciation of some of these dinosaur names is rougher than the ride itself, which is saying a lot. After all, you are traveling back to a time when roads didn't exist yet. After our first encounter with a Carnotaurus, you'd experience a whole lot of pitch black, which if the lights were turned on, you'd realize were just a bunch of blank black walls.
Computer, slow and identify.
Sauropod.
Still not our dino, but at least this one's a vegetarian.
While you're busy on this so-called joyride on this time-traveling RC car, Dr. Seeker is lounging back behind his comfy desk at the Institute, treating this impending destruction of Earth like it's a page over the intercom system at a Walmart, telling you 5 minutes till close as he casually browses for his dino.
Asteroid impact in 60 seconds.
We can't stop now! Keep going, keep going!
After 3 minutes of searching for his Iguanodon, Dr. Seeker finally comes to his senses and gives up the chase in what is actually a really solid finale. Another encounter with the big bad strobe light Carnotaurus, which is actually only strobing to sneak in a ride photo, capturing the lifelong scarring moments of many childhoods in the process, because this ride, and especially this part, is really freaking scary. I guess it's important to note that the reason that the Carnotaurus was in the ride rather than a T-Rex was not only because just up the road Disney knew Universal was building a brand new park with a carbon copy of their Jurassic Park ride from California, where in the finale you come face to face with a T-Rex, but also the Carnotaurus was the big bad villain in the Dinosaur movie that was being produced in tandem with the ride. And the Carnotaurus at the time was a semi-recent discovery, the first being unearthed in 1984, only 8 years prior to the planning of Animal Kingdom. Compare that to 1892 when the first T-Rex was discovered, and it makes sense why this choice was made. In recent years, fans of the ride have discovered a huge mistake in the depiction of said dinosaur on the ride. The Carnotaurus was never that large. In fact, Disney got it so wrong that their version was nearly 5 times bigger than any Carnotaurus actually was. In 2021, lead creative and Imagineer of Disney's Animal Kingdom, Joe Rohde, addressed this in a post on his Instagram.
We had to build this Carnotaurus as a robotic AA figure. It's heavy. The steel in its legs needed to be thick. Once the legs were that thick, the dinosaur needed to be thick to match. Once it was that thick, it needed to be bigger proportionally, and once it was that big, it needed more profound skin features to read proportionally. By the time we were done, we had a huge and somewhat new animal. Not utterly implausible, but not Carnotaurus sastri. We basically invented Carnotaurus robustus.
He then continued on to say,
I still see depictions of Carnotaurus Carnotaurus as a massive, thorny bulldog of a creature instead of a sleek, funky overbite, weaselish critter it was. I wonder how many of these depictions could be traced back to our design solutions for these gigantic steel ankles on the AA figure we built.
This photo op was not the last sighting of this made-up dino. During the ride's final moments, it pops its head through the fog for one final scare. The original finale of the ride was meant to feature a huge puff of smoke, like a cannonball blast to the face, as seen in this Disney World 25th anniversary special that aired on Good Morning America in 1996.
This place is top secret, but Technical Chief Bran Farron let us peek at 2 special effects that aren't in the theme parks yet.
Michael, this is a vortex generator, and what it's designed to do is give you the effect of a meteorite striking the Earth.
Oh boy. The secret is a giant bellows. When squeezed, it blows out a huge high-speed smoke ring. Add a flash of light, and poof, you have a fake meteorite.
It's at the same time that we catch a glimpse of our dino before being teleported back to modern times.
They're not gonna make it! They're not gonna make it!
Mission accomplished.
You made it! I knew you would.
The ride ended with your Time Rover vehicle turning the corner to find a security monitor with a CGI iguanodon roaming the backstage hallways of the Dino Institute. It said that the original plans were that the iguanodon would somehow be riding on the back of your Time Rover, similar to how the hitchhiking ghosts appear at the end of Haunted Mansion.
I feel like there's no practical way this could have been done in 1998, and for that reason, it never left the conceptual stages. So, let's recap.
A crazed scientist forces tourists on an unauthorized time travel mission, putting guests in peril so he could fix a mistake he made in the first place. We encounter some dinosaurs. Whoops, seems like I accidentally included shots from the Back to the Future ride, an attraction that opened 7 years prior just up the street at Universal Studios.
I know what you're thinking. Ryan, first Jurassic Park, now Back to the Future. Are you saying that Disney pretty much took all of their ideas from Universal in the early 90s for this ride? I mean, maybe. There's just far too many coincidences for this to not be a possibility.
In all seriousness, let's be real. Dr. Seeker is the ultimate Disney villain. Considering that we could have easily been beamed back during the day in a less densely wooded area and not 3 minutes from one of the largest catastrophic events in the history of the planet, what was this guy thinking? If the events of the ride actually happened today, it would be national news. Putting 12 people, scratch that, how many per hour does this ride do?
2,400 people? Oh my god.
This is a Titanic submarine voyage meets Firefest level news event with, I'm sure, a Netflix documentary soon to follow. All of this happening on the daily since the ride's opening on April 22nd of 1998. When Animal Kingdom opened, like any other Disney park, it was accompanied by an opening day TV special that aired on ABC, hosted by America's favorite improv game show host and soon-to-be star of his very own ride at Disney's California Adventure, Drew Carey. This special was interesting, to say the least.
The excitement is building here at Kilimanjaro Safaris. We're going on a safari with Jane Seymour, James Keach, and their family, and we'll see animals like you've never seen it before, singing show tunes, wearing funny hats. No, wait, that was a dream I had last night.
This Animal Kingdom special, titled The First Adventure, had a strong push for the fact that the park was an educational experience. Probably because they were banking hard on schools sending their students on field trips to the park at a time when Disney desperately needed it. This ploy was made very obvious when the hit ABC series Sabrina the Teenage Witch visited Animal Kingdom on a field trip following the park's opening. During the First Adventure TV special, the cast of Sister Sister, Tia, Tamira, and Taj Mowry visit Animal Kingdom, explore Dinoland USA, and ride Dinosaur.
I heard a theory that the massive extinction was caused by a huge asteroid hitting the Earth.
The debris that was dislodged blocked out the sun over a period of years. Most vegetation would have died.
So do you want to see it?
See what? Right this way, ladies and gents.
Straight ahead. Hey, man.
Hey, how you doing, Kat?
Okay, yeah, right up here in the front car. Okay. Oh, yeah, and don't forget to put on your safety belts. Oh, and make sure they're nice and snug.
Now, the asteroid won't actually hit the vehicle, but there may be a bit of an impact.
Hey, aren't you guys coming with us?
No, we've got to try and get you back. Enjoy the meteor shower.
Hey,
In 1998, this was the first look at what you could expect from this new attraction for most Disney Parks fans, and I guess served as a prime-time warning of how scary this ride would be for young ones. Upon arriving back at the Dino Institute, the cast reacts to their ride experience.
That was amazing. Yeah, that was so educational. That was so cool.
Honestly, I am so happy they wrote "this was educational" into the script, because that's exactly the first thought that a teenager would have when getting off of a thrill ride. But come on, we know Disney's motive. Like we had previously mentioned, just 2 years later, on May 1st of 2000, the name of the attraction would change from Countdown to Extinction to Dinosaur, to reflect the movie's release, which wouldn't happen until May 19th of that same year. With a budget of $127 million and a box office of $350 million, it's safe to say Dinosaur the Movie was a hit.
We've got a few more mouths to feed at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Dinosaur, ride it.
McDonald's sponsorship of the ride lasted until 2008, likely due to a 10-year contract with the company, which was also around the time that you started seeing McDonald's fry carts disappearing from the parks. Add another 10 plus years to that, and we never ended up seeing the overhaul to Dinoland USA that Disney originally planned. While other areas of the park like Asia and what was formerly Camp Mini Mickey seeing an influx of hundreds of millions of dollars in that time, with new additions like Expedition Everest and Pandora, the World of Avatar. In 2022, it seems as if the dino craze of the 90s had officially stayed past its welcome, when chairman of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, Josh D'Amaro, discussed blue sky ideas for what was assumed to be the Dinoland area of Animal Kingdom, including a Moana-themed water ride and a Zootopia land. This was at D23, a convention run by Disney out in California every 2 years that they also use as a place to make announcements for both the studio projects and the parks. Just 1 year later at Destination D23, a smaller convention Disney runs in Orlando, plans changed and it was confirmed that Dinoland USA would be closing to make way for a South American themed land featuring Encanto and what seemed to be possibly a Indiana Jones retheme to the Dinosaur ride. Other than this single piece of concept art, pretty much no further information was given on the future or timeline of when Dinoland might be closing. It was made official 1 year later in August of 2024 at D23 in Anaheim, California, that Dinoland was indeed closing for this future expansion in the very near future. Fans also caught a glimpse of this brand new Encanto ride coming soon to the former Dinorama area of the park. It was reiterated by D'Amaro that guests would still have time to ride the dinosaur attraction, as the land would see a phased closing over the following year, with construction set to begin in fall of 2024. In the same breath, the new land was announced to be opening in 2027. The Indiana Jones retheme to Dinosaur would not be an exact replica to the ride out in Disneyland, which we had previously mentioned having a near exact copy of the track layout as Dinosaur. Instead, we would follow along with Indy as he discovered a Mayan temple and hopes to find a mythical creature rumored to be hidden deep within the temple.
I feel like this is a great time to mention that Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland is my favorite theme park ride of all time.
So I guess it goes without saying that this new indie version of Dinosaur could very well may be my new favorite attraction, and the sole reason I will end up going to Animal Kingdom once it opens. At the time of recording, Dinoland is still open and operating at a capacity, for sure. It's still pretty empty. The removal of Primeval Whirl happened back in 2021, and the land hasn't really felt the same since.
Just so I know you made it this far in the video, let me know in the comments down below if you are excited for these changes coming to Dinoland USA. A simple yes or no will do, or a whole paragraph. Honestly, whatever you are feeling, just something so I know you're a real one and made it all the way to the end of this video, just like our real ones over on Patreon.
For exclusive vlogs, watch-alongs, and sneak previews of our main channel history videos like this one, you can join the Pity Crew over there. It does help support the channel nearly 500 times more than watching an ad that pops up on YouTube.
If you're interested in more theme park-based history videos, check out this one over here. or my all-time favorite, this one, you're gonna wanna hit that one. I'm Ryan, this has been For the Love of Theme Parks, and I will see you all real soon. Thanks. Bye.